तो आपने जब इमेजिन किया होगा कि मुझे फैक्ट्री सेटअप करनी है, वहाँ से लेके ऑपरेशंस तक, सो हाउ वाज दैट हेल्पफुल? डिड दैट गिव यू अ सब्सटैंशियल बेनिफिट?
First and foremost, you are worried about the land, which is sold through the Invest UP portal. UP government is setting up almost 10 IMLC across UP. I must congratulate to the team, Nivesh Mitra, UP IDA team, UP SIDA team, right, Invest UP team. So who are very aggressive in the nature in terms of the response time.
So Uttar Pradesh is making a lot of effort for investors and for the development of the state in terms of infrastructure. You brought up Jewar Airport, in terms of expressways, the integrated manufacturing and logistics clusters. We are also trying to additionally do what is have a very good place considering ease of doing business. We spoke about Nivesh Mitra, and what I would like to know is how has your business planning, the execution, the timelines that you set, your experience with Nivesh Mitra, how was that instrumental in kind of helping you fasten your process? तो आपने जब इमेजिन किया होगा कि मुझे फैक्ट्री सेटअप करनी है, वहाँ से लेके ऑपरेशंस तक, बिकॉज द approvals came in quickly, your queries resolved quickly. So how was that helpful? Did that give you a substantial benefit?
So like I said in the beginning, when we thought that we must have the factory and where we should factor, so what happens? You are going to have a large capex. So once you are doing a capex at 200 crore, 500 crores, what happens? The first thing comes in your mind that the return. And returns becomes in the mind like the anxiety and the fear. So either this return is going to happen or not happen, because the kind of the project that we are going to execute, are you going to get the raw material on the time? Are you going to have your skilled manpower on the time? If you are getting the connectivity is there or not, like the port, railway, right? So all are available is not. So these are the things is very, very important for us. And what happened that particularly from the approval point of view, we did not expect the such fast approval, I would say. So I must congratulate to the team who is handling, right, Nivesh Mitra, UP IDA team, UP SIDA team, right, Invest UP team. So who are very aggressive in the nature in terms of the response time, right? So when you apply for a factory, what you do, the first and foremost, you are worried about the land size and the cost of the land. So that is the first part, which is sold through the Invest UP portal. Then what happens then, before starting the factory, right, you have to take the consent for the establishment, CTE. Then what you do, then you have to take the approval for the CTO, like consent to operate, right? Then you apply for the fire, then you have to apply for the electricity connection, right? So in this way, many more approval you have to need it. But what happens, it is all happening on the single portal and it is happening on the timeline. So the good part is that if it is not happening on the timeline, right, so it is escalated to the higher authority, and then everyone is aware that this particular project is getting delayed. So we are very lucky, I would say, in our sense that things have been not like that, and everything has been on the time, and we are proud to say that we are executing our project on very timeline.
The state is also actively trying to establish an ecosystem. So your company is primarily focusing on solar and renewables, and for every sector we are trying to do something where we have got forward and backward linkages. Raw materials are being procured on time, hopefully from local vendors. Then your product gets developed and it also gets absorbed either in the domestic market, or we have a very strong linkage to international market or outside the state. So at some point during the conversation, we discussed that when you were having this assessment, you figured out that you could procure skills, raw materials here in UP itself. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so if you look at the product that we manufacture, take example of the solar glass, right? You have the solar cells, right? And then the back seat, right? The wire, connector, junction box, packaging materials. So there are many more material you need to set up, assemble the product, right? So the benefit right now we are getting that the solar cell manufacturing is going to happen in the Noida itself.
Right.
So can you believe that? So that is the thing is happening. So what so far we are doing? We are taking some part of, from the Maharashtra, some from Tamil Nadu, some coming from the Gujarat, some from the Rajasthan. If the factory in the UP and also raw material if we could get here in the nearby, so the transportation cost will come down and also the delivery timeline.
Right.
Right. So the material currently coming from the best region, it is taking 3 to 4 days. Right. The same material we can get on the same day. So these are the things which is happening. I would say that raw material supply side, if it gets strong, more and more company like us, right, I think will be here in a coming days, and not in the solar segment also, in the different segment, only because raw material and the manufacturing has always been and a big challenge in India, and the government of India and the government of UP are taking a big initiative to have a certain percentage of their total GDP of the manufacturing also. And companies like us who became first the startup and now like the mid-sized company, right? And we have aspiration to become a large enterprise. So we would need lots of the more and more supplier who can help us to do this business. And going forward, our plan is to expand further. So what we are planning now for this UP itself, we are planning to have almost 1 gigawatt of the solar panel also, right? And also on the new land that we are going to take, we have planned to have 1 gigawatt inverter factory. Then also we are planning to have a 1.2 gigawatt hour solar battery factory. So because now we can get the assurance and the confidence, because it's been almost 1.5 years now, right? Engaging with the government, engaging with the team here, and the plan that we have set up, we believe that we will execute very nicely here.
Nice. You've already brought it up. So what are your expansion plans? How many plants? You've told us about the inverter plant. You've told us about another project. Give us a little bit more details.
Yeah. So if you see the current the factory that we have in Haryana right now, we have the solar panel factory, and this is the second and the third expansion plan. The first happening in the Mathura with the 1.2 gigawatt solar panel, and the second which will come in the Meerut itself, which is around 1 gigawatt inverter and 1 gigawatt hour battery. Also, we are exploring more and more opportunity. So some of the acquisition also we are exploring here in the UP region only, because the UP is the biggest market from the consumer point of view, right? And so we are not looking a very short-term plan. We have the very long-term plan, 3 to 5 years, and we are also exploring other opportunity other than the solar only.
So, basis your experience, now Loom Solar is a mid-tier company, and it is one of the key enablers in setting up the solar and renewable ecosystem in the state. So what are your conversations like when you're talking to other entrepreneurs, other people who are starting, and what is it that your advice sounds like when you talk to them about investment?
So, like I said, some of the recent development for the UP itself, you take example of SAEL, right? Goenka Group, right? IB Solar, and there are many more who are already settled here, like the Jackson Solar, right? Alpex Solar, right? So there are so many companies are in this industry, and not particularly in this west region, even the eastern region also.
Right.
Purvanchal side, I am hearing a lot that these solar developer are going to set up, particularly in the Bulandshahr.
Right.
Lots of the big solar power plant is going to come. So the same thing, if you ask me before COVID or maybe 4 to 5 years back, I would say we could not imagine such thing is happening, but it has not happening, but some of the project has already been executed. So as an individual and from the company point of view, and from the industry point of view, I am saying that we are very bullish on the UP market, particularly in terms of the cost. You do the comparison of the cost of land in UP, availability of the land in UP compared to the Haryana or compared to the other regions. So it is very, very affordable and even available. The good part is right now land is available. Rest of the state, they are facing a big challenge of the land, right? Because it's a state matter of subject. But here in UP, I have come to know that UP government is setting up almost 10 IMLC across UP on the Ganga Expressway and like Bundelkhand and different. It means it is not going to develop in the part of the Delhi NCR only, but it is going to the city like the Gorakhpur, right, Bundelkhand. So from the investment point of view, many like FDI, right, has come up. So these are the very good sign of people like us who are in the in the mid size of the business for the expansion point of view.
So you rightly mentioned, because both Invest UP and the government of UP are trying to aggregate the available land parcels that we have. Like you mentioned, IMLCs. So across, we have actually 27 IMLCs that have been identified, and they are peppered across the expressways. 10 of them are currently strategically being updated with plug-and-play infrastructure. But across 27 IMLCs, we already have a land bank of 12,500 acres. Then we are also identifying individual parcels in districts as well. So Gorakhpur, for instance, we have 300 acres available that we are willing to allocate. So these are key things that the government is currently working on. When you mentioned your association with the government and what has your journey been like, I'm assuming that the faith that you had and your experience with us in the past 1.5 years has been very instrumental in you taking a chance with us again when you're setting up new plants. So what is your experience like when you're talking to administration? Have you had any issues? Has it been smooth? What was that like?
So, like I said, I come from Bihar, right, Sitamarhi, and whenever we go home, right, which route we use? The Purvanchal Expressway.
Right.
So that has been, but before that, it was so challenging, right? So we can see what kind of the development is happening around, and so I can see and I can experience that. That is the good part, right?
Right.
So you take from Delhi to Bihar, so you take Agra Expressway, Yamuna Expressway, and then Purvanchal Expressway, Lucknow Expressway, right? And then you go there. And all the highway, like the talking you point is like the IMLC, that it is coming on the highway. It means connectivity is going to very smooth, because this UP comes like not near to the seaport. So every big investor has this kind of the challenge, inland, the port, the cost of the logistics. And therefore, with the help of this large expressway, the good part is that you can dispatch your material in a very short span of time, rather than, and it's a single road. It's not like the multiple connectivity. So that I can see is a very good sign. In terms of the talking to the administration and talking to the people here, we are interacting on the very regular basis, right? The various department I have interacted. And so far, I can see the same vibes, right? You know that government of UP has set a target, almost 1 trillion,
Right.
right, GDP. And my aspiration is that how to, contribute in a way, right? Similarly, like you see, our team size is around 300 people. Now we are talking with the new expansion, we will be around 1,000 people in a 2 to 3 years time. So these are the kind of the support system is available, and this is not happening from one department or other department. It is I would say like the holistic approach. The government has set the target that we must reach to the $1 trillion GDP, and earlier we were part of the MSME, right? We got many advantage being an MSME company. Now become a mid-sized company, right? With the help of this kind of the subsidy, right? If you have the FDI, you are getting a land almost free of cost, almost 25% FDI. The land cost is almost free for the FDI people. So these are the facility we have not experienced in other states, because as an investor, like you interact, you travel, you meet to the other investor also, and other administrator in the different state. So these are the things that I can see that it is differentiating the UP, compared to any other state. So the good advantage and the big thing in the UP, I can see that you have very large land bank that you are saying, right? And it is available. That is the good part. And in terms of the cost comparison, much better. So what is the need for any big investor for setting a large power plant? You need a good low cost electricity connection, and also you need a good amount of the water, right? And then you need the connectivity. So if any material coming on the seaport, you can easily reach out to your customer location, to your warehouse, to your manufacturing unit, and so fast delivery is also one of the important thing. So these are the things I think for any manufacturing unit is required, and I think we are getting that. So I would say thank again to the government UP, Invest UP for doing this fantastic job, and we hope to achieve this a big milestone maybe in 2 to 3 years of the $1 trillion GDP.
So thank you so much, sir, for taking the time to speak to us. What you've told us, what you've shared with us is also very enabling and empowering for both us and our viewers to understand how UP is actually working on ground and facilitating investors. Thank you so much again, and we would love to have you anytime that you wish to come over.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Likewise.